Hey everybody, welcome back to BlockStar. Today for an update and everything. We're gonna hold an AMA at the end of this as well. So save all your questions. I may stop a few times in between, and we can if you do have some questions specifically about something that we're talking about, I'll give you guys a chance to ask those questions a few times in between as well. But all your other questions hold to the end, and we'll try to get all those answered before we leave today. So just a few updates just to start it off. Super excited. Again, things are always quiet on the back, and that doesn't mean things aren't being are on the front end, I should say. That means we're super busy on the back end. I know a lot of you guys know that we've been working on the app, working on the chain, going from a private state to a public state. So all those things are being worked on. Just a quick update on the app side of things. We're running into a few issues, and we've come to a consensus. We're gonna have to break the app up. The problem is because of how big the ecosystem has grown outside the original scope and scale when we started building out BlockStar, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It was always the scope to have everything into one app. We're not going to be able to do that because of the size of the file. We don't want people waiting 5-10 minutes for a download from iOS and from Google Play, or also from our own app store that we'll be rolling out later on. I'll explain some of that stuff later on. Um, so we're going to break it up into our core apps. What we've kind of come to a consensus on is with our core apps, breaking up BlockStar and Chat into one because they're already tied together. And then we will be breaking into digital and TV into their own as well. And AI will be a separate one. And then the other ones we will release as singular apps into the App Store. To give you guys kind of an idea of what that looks like on a grander scale, if you look at your phones, you probably see where Google has its main app, and we'll have the same thing. And then you'll have several downloads as its flagship product. Google has like Gmail and Google Docs, so they will all fall under, right? Kind of a similar look to what it looks like on Blockstar.site, but Google has its main app, and then it has all of its flagship products that come after that, right? But instead of rolling it out one at a time as we come along, we're rolling out several of them all as one. So you'll be able to group those directly on your phone, but they will be native, and you'll be able to download the main app directly from iOS or from Google Play. So it's not that we have to go back and start from scratch or anything. All those SDK files have already been built. All we're doing is finalizing some stuff, and I have to split some of that stuff apart. But that way it'll be very quick for people to download, very efficient, and it won't lag and take up resources on people's phone, which is a big crucial part of it. One of the apps that we'll be releasing will be the BlockStar wallet. Is what we're going to do with all of the DeFi stuff, because as some of you guys may know, on iOS and on Google Play, some of the fintech type stuff is okay. All right, Tyler, sounds good, buddy. Some of the fintech stuff does not get approved. So the way that we're going to do it, we're not going to hide it, but we're going to release the wallet. And under that wallet, the BlockStar wallet, will have all of the dApps predefined in there. You won't even have to connect if you're using BlockStar anyway. Wallet, then you won't have to connect anything, right? But we'll also have a Google extension as well. I'll look into some of the other browsers, but for sure there'll be a Google extension to be able to add the BlockStar wallet there. So if other people, as they're deploying onto our chain through Synergy, again, that's another piece of the puzzle that we'll explain later. What Synergy is and how that works into our ecosystem. They'll be able to connect directly to our chain from MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet, or any other Web3 wallet out there as well. But the BlockStar wallet will be native, and it will have those predefined dApps in there for all of our DeFi stuff. And that we'll just jump right into on the DeFi side of things. I am going to do some screen sharing here. Let me close out the chat for myself here. Um, just to give you guys an update on some of the things that have been being worked on the backside here. Let me get this opened up. Uh, Everybody see my screen? I just need one yes. Perfect. So as you guys can see, we have rethought all of the DeFi products. Right now, the other ones, the previous ones are all currently live. These will be the ones that are all part of the new app. As you guys can see, it's a new, fresh, clean interface from the front end. This is tied directly to BlockStar's mainnet and testnet. Right now, I'm happy to say, and I'll show you guys that here shortly, we have already passed here the last couple days over 500 million transactions on our testnet. So happy to report that with no issues, and it's had extensive testing on the test net. Several people from our team have been able to to go through and help with some of that testing and everything as I've been deploying out contracts and testing all this the swaps and everything as well. So not just will we have the hex, but we'll also have the DeFi swap where we'll be adding liquidity here as well. So more like Uniswap and Pancake Swap, Ape Swap, Banana Swap, some of the stuff that you guys are used to on that as well. We're also going to give people the ability to offer liquidity on other chains, Matic over on BNB side, also on the Ethereum chain. As we as a company, right, and as a ecosystem, we are not going specifically to put liquidity there, but we will help others to be able to do that, and we'll even give some um, a way for people to earn based off of their ability to put liquidities on the chain to truly make us cross chain, cross platform. Obviously, we want to support our ecosystem because the way that we support our ecosystem is by using our ecosystem. That's a big component of what we're building out right now with the social platform, right? I know a lot of you guys that are invested in the BlockStar. What about volume? What about volume? That is one of the big ticket items that we're building out is a user base. So all these future products and the products that are releasing now in the app, we've I'm happy to say we're at over 32,000 people that are using BlockStar Social at this point. I think we're over 15,000 that are using BlockStar TV and just shy of 10,000 that are using digital. So we're continuously growing, and that is without any advertising. That is just word of mouth. That is grassroots people just going out and telling other people that have been excited about a product or people trying it out or found us through search engines. There's a lot of backlinks out there right now. There's some spam on there that we are cleaning up. We're also going to be introducing some AI into the social platform to help with some of the stuff that's coming out of I'll just say it, India, China, some of the stuff that some of it is spam. We're gonna be getting rid of that, but there is no spam accounts. What I mean by that is you physically have to, the way that we have it designed and set up, you physically have to fill out all the information. You can't just do it from an API address. I mean, stuff on the back end, all the development work to stop and take 5 minutes to sit there and fill out every single little thing that I did. It's not efficient for me. It's not efficient for you guys. And to be honest, half of the stuff that I'm doing, unless you've had coding experience or understand that realm, right? You're not going to understand what I'm actually doing anyway, even if I were to put it in an update, right? Because what you guys really care about are, for the majority, what they care about is something they can touch, they can feel, right? Or they can use. So without suddenly having those bigger updates, it just doesn't make sense for me to put it all on the change log. But eventually, I will commit to putting together that change log, even all the stuff that, even if you don't understand, maybe you want to go Google it, right? You guys will have the ability to do that. So just to click through a few of these, just so you guys have an update on this. This is the Dex. Let me just connect the wallet here. Uh, Hold up. As you guys can see, this is all on the test network that I'm using right here. I have a gazillion tokens. So it's pretty much the same look and feel that you would find on Uniswap or Pancake Swap. All of the same stuff. And options. There are some stuff for disable the multi hop. Some of you guys are familiar with that. Some of you are not. Um, that also ties directly into our chain. So with those multi hops, not just on our chain, but across chain as well. So when we do allow for other people to offer liquidity on those other platforms, then it would disable the multi hops and it will put it right into a wormhole contract, which will save you guys gas in the future as well. Speaking of gas, just to give you guys a general sense, I'm going to bounce around here for just a minute. I'm going to go over to our test net. As you guys can see, there's over 500,017,674 blocks that have been done on the test net so far. I'm going to click into the transaction, the first one here, just so you guys can see. If you do not think that is a great price for gas, I don't think you're going to find that on any other chains out there. That is a very cheap transaction fee, and it should complete within less than 10 seconds, as you can see here. That is very quick. So for you guys that don't understand, if you've ever waited 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Almost all of our transactions are closing, no matter how many transactions are in those blocks, in less than 10 seconds, right? Because every 10 seconds, because of the proof authority and the proof of work and the proof of stake, we are able to continuously put out those blocks and everything, settle on a layer two, and then it starts settling on the layer one with the proof of authority, right? And if you guys want more technical detail on that, I'm happy to provide some more info on a later update or AMA, or if you guys want to save those questions for the end, I'll go back through and kind of explain how some of this stuff works. But that is a very cheap fee. It's basically nothing, right? To be able to transact on our chain, even as we grow and scale and everything, these prices will stay relative to the same price. Even at when you start getting to close to max capacity before we start adding in other nodes and everything, you're still looking at like 2/10 of a penny to be able to do transactions. And I mean, even bigger transactions when you're deploying contracts. I'll just pop into one here so that you guys can see it. You guys will see some of the tests. Let's see. As you guys can see, the BlockStar team bears are already natively on the BlockStar chain, but just to get into some of the contracts here, verify contracts, marketplace. Let's get to just to deploy this onto here. To contract creation. The most expensive part of doing contracts is the deployment of the contract into the chain. As you guys can see, that is what it costs right there. 0.001 BST. If you guys don't know what that is, that's literally, what is that, a tenth, Kath? Where's my math people at? About a tenth of a cent. BlockStar's running around 10 cents right now. I think it's about a tenth, maybe a 20th of a cent. I don't know. But as you guys can see, it's very easy to transact on our chain, very inexpensive, and it will continue to be that way. So the whole purpose is to get as much volume as possible, and then all of this stuff feeds right directly back into the ecosystem, whether it be to node holders directly into the ecosystem for the users, or to continuously put out great products and utility throughout the BlockStar ecosystems. So again, as you guys can see on the test net that we're running here, test net, um, you can see we've done a ton of transactions. I've hit the same with everything that we could possibly hit it with as far as any type of exploits, and it is running very efficiently with no issues, right? So let me just stop sharing here. We'll pop over and open this up. Well, that's a good time to stop. And does anybody got any questions on anything I've shared so far? Yes, no, maybe. All right. I'm going to keep moving along here pretty quick here. We got a bunch of stuff to get through. So just to pop over to the NFT platform, you're not going to see a lot of NFTs on here. I'm going to share this since it pops up here. Again, we reworked all of the NFT platform as well. It's all tied together into the native chain now. As you guys can see, we've redone everything from the look, the feel. Everything has been completely redone and very efficient. Kath can contest to that. She's done a lot of testing on these for me, going through and checking. You guys know I don't misspell any grammar or spelling errors, so she has kindly went through and just confirmed that I don't do that. Right, Kath? That's right. That's right. That's right. Um, but as you guys can see, we've changed everything up. I'll just click into one of these so you guys can see it. So now before, if you guys remember on the previous version, BlockStar, even on the native NFTs, even on the ETH chain, unless you were doing a collection, you didn't have the ability to add in all the different traits and everything and the details. Now you are able to do that. And not only will it show on the BlockStar chain, but the way that we've set it up with the APIs, it will automatically put this stuff over on OpenSea and all the other bigger platforms like Rarible as well. So not only do you have the benefit of deploying on a chain that is going to be less expensive, more secure, but you also have the ability for that stuff to start showing up on all the other chains as well with cross chain if you decide to deploy those on both, right? Same way with like how we did BlockStar Bears. Those will not only just show on the ETH chain, but they will also show on the BlockStar chain as well. And we're hoping at some point then OpenSea and Raribles will pick us up natively, but until then, we have fixed it to where they will show directly on there, and that would include all the images and stuff as well. Obviously, you can see this was an auction and everything, and it shows you the complete transaction history, the collection history, everything is here, right? So if you wanted to come in here just as check the marketplace, see what's available here, you would be able to do this by collection or just all individuals as well. Again, these are not real NFTs; these are just junk test NFTs, as you can see. Um, and it's super quick test. And this stuff has been tested on iPhone. This stuff has been tested on Android, web, every browser out there. Currently, even Optimus, all of it is working correctly, and this will be all part of that the wallet app that we'll be rolling out. So it should be super simple for you guys if you're going to be using the BlockStar wallet. All you do is open a wallet, and you want to have to connect the wallet because already natively built to the wallet to be able to use all of these platforms, right? So we also do have light mode if you prefer the light mode better. I say that I got to fix it. Update profile. Oh, I got to update it here. But there's a light mode, so it will change it. I'll show you back over on the next here. Just give me a second. You guys still see my screen? Okay. Yep. So it'll look just like this. So we do have the light mode and everything of this as well. For those that do prefer the light mode, I prefer dark. Again, I spend a lot of time at the computer. Um, Also, jumping away from NFTs, and it'll be very inexpensive to mint the NFTs, where it's very expensive on other chains to mint big, large collections of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 NFTs, and to be able to set these up for use case in GameFi, right? It's very expensive to do that. We give people the ability to come in and do it at a fair price. And again, it's just more money that comes into the ecosystem that then turn around and gets distributed out, between users, node holders, and the company itself to continue to be able to develop these things. And if we jump right over to staking, because before I do that, everything that we do is built to increase the price of BlockStar by default. Because again, the reason we're building out that user base is every single person that joins the BlockStar ecosystem by default become a holder of BlockStar, right? There's not very many projects out there that can boast that they have a million holders, 2 million holders, 5 million holders, 10 million holders. As we continue to scale, that is the case with us, right? If BlockStar is just built differently, where it doesn't require just investors to come in and put money into it. People that are using the ecosystem, whether it be from advertisers coming in and advertising and those funds going into the pools and then being dispersed between the people that have opted into seeing those ads and being able to be part of those pools if they fit the correct demographics. All of those things are made to increase. So instead of somebody having 100,000 tokens, right, this is split up between hundreds of thousands of people, right? And everybody said, well, how are we going to scale? How do we do this? We do it by what we're doing now, creating great products, great utility that the people want to use. Again, the apps are going to help with a lot of that, but we wanted to wait to this point to start releasing those apps because we want them to be perfect, right? The worst thing in the world is to build something that you know is great, and then there be one or two issues, and then somebody come to that app and they find those one or two issues and they say, oh, it's not working, it doesn't work correctly. And again, some of you guys know how I feel about iOS, but I'll use this as a use case, right? Even if everything is perfect and iOS has an issue, right, and they've changed something that particular day when somebody goes and use it, now somebody goes on there, it's not quite working for them just because iOS made an update and didn't allow the developers time to make any of those updates in real time. um, we just don't want people to have a bad experience, is my point. So that's why we've taken the time to go through, make sure everything is perfect, right? Whether it be grammar, spelling, being able to test out every single function, making sure it's working on all browsers, working on all devices at any given period of time. And that way we have the best shot of retaining a customer for life. So that way, again, anytime that we roll out anything in the future, whether it be a new app platform, whether it be something else that's a new utility for the ecosystem, or whatever we're doing at that given time, we have an ability to go out instead of having to spend tons of money on advertising for a new product. We already have our user base built out. And everybody says, well, how long does it take to go to 1 million users? Well, we're at 32,000 now without any advertising, right? We expect with our advertising, we're going to reach 1 million fairly quickly, right? Well, what does it take to go to 2 million? Well, to go to 1 million, it's one person starting with me at the, let's call it block one, Genesis, right? I had to tell 1 million people, right? Well, to go to 2 million, it's everybody only telling one person, right? And then how do you go to 4 million? Same thing, everybody telling one person, right? So the scale will be very quick. right? And if we go back and look in history and everything, everybody's like, well, Facebook has millions of users, Google has millions of users. Well, let's go back 10, 15 years, right? That wasn't the case. Even like OpenAI, some of you guys are familiar with that. They're like, oh, well, they blew up overnight. No, they've been around for 12 years, right? And how long did it take? We've been consistently building a great product and a great ecosystem, right? There was no point in rushing it out, right? And I know some not you guys specifically, but some of the guys in the ecosystem have been very impatient, right? Well, if anybody deserves to be impatient, it's me. I spent the most amount of time in it, and there's a lot of people on my team that have been here for a long time, and some of you guys in the ecosystem have been here since day one. And obviously, I appreciate you guys more than you guys know. You guys have been a big vessel that's been helping to steer the direction of some of these products. So I commend you guys for that, because without you guys and some of the feedback, we wouldn't be where we're at today without you guys. So keeping that in mind, patience is literally a virtue and everything. We're getting so close and things are moving very quickly now. So again, I'll remind you guys, just because you don't see stuff on the front end all the time this happening, it's because we are super busy on the back end doing these things, because they're just tedious, daunting tasks that just have to be done, right? But we get closer every single day, as you guys can see with all the DeFi stuff, um, the blockchain, the test nets, and everything. Um, Getting all these apps ready to go, breaking them up, building out the SDKs. If you go just do a Google search, how long it takes to build an app for a single app, just a single basic app and everything, it usually takes developers 6 to 8 months just to build one single app, right? We're doing it for an entire ecosystem. Lucky for you guys, I started this stuff a long time ago, and so we have a big jump, right? But once we start the marketing and once we start getting this out to the masses, right, we needed the people that we have now in social, right? Because some of those guys have been basically our beta testers, and it costs us absolutely nothing. And I've gotten a ton of feedback from those guys, including a lot of yous that have went through and beta tested. I mean, I hear more about iOS a year ago, and I don't hardly hear anything about it today, because without you guys using iOS and all that stuff, as much as I complain about it as a developer, it's good for me to make sure that I'm keeping up on all the iOS stuff as well, to make sure that people are having a good experience. And without you guys that are using iOS, I don't necessarily know all that. Even though I'm testing on my end, it's usually in a virtual environment. It's not in real time on an actual iOS device. Again, it's a virtual environment that's supposed to be like the phones or the tablets. So again, I appreciate you guys for that. But back to the point of it just takes time to build this stuff out. And we are working tirelessly behind the scenes to get these things done. And as you guys see, I hope with some of these updates, you guys are able to see some of the fruits of that labor. And I know the next question is going to be, well, when is all this stuff going to be released? As soon as we get everything finished, right? So right after the apps go live, we're going to be releasing this chain from the private state to public state. We're not going to be waiting anymore. We're going to release it right afterwards, and we're not having to do updates all the time at that point, right? At that point, I could put on a different hat and put my business hat on and take off my developer hat for a little while. We won't have to be making updates every day. We'll be pushing out updates maybe once every quarter, right? So then we'll start pushing into the BlockStar world and all that stuff, the AR, VR stuff that some of you guys have been privy to see on the back end. I have some other platforms that we want to be pushing out as well, but then we'll be able to do those in single apps, or there may be some of that stuff that's grouped together, like the BlockStar tools and some of those other ones. We'll be grouping those together into one app, and we'll be rethinking some of those. Obviously, the gaming part of it, the BlockStar Poker and the casino, we're going to be combining those as well into one app. So it's just a ton of stuff going on. I'm gonna pop over to staking here. Some of you guys are familiar with the staking on the hex and everything. Now you'll have the ability to stake directly on the BlockStar on the DeFi side of it too, whether you're using BlockStar Wallet or you want to keep your stuff in MetaMask, Trust Wallet, whatever it is, right? I do encourage you guys to use the BlockStar Wallet, because again, that is another part of our ecosystem. And without users for our ecosystem, it doesn't. None of this stuff matters, right? So we need the user base, and if you're going to support the project, support what we're doing, support the ecosystem by using the ecosystem. That's the most important thing I can stress to you guys. We don't need the money. We don't need investors coming in at this point. For you guys that are already investing in everything, that's all we need, because again, everybody by default becomes a holder of BlockStar and invest it in the BlockStar ecosystem. We need people that are using the ecosystem, and we feel like we built a great product. We just need to put it out there to the masses now. But again, you can come in here and you can stay directly on here. I've changed this whole layout to make it super easy for you guys to be able to read and to come. I'm right here on testing. I'll just show you guys how quick and easy it is. We'll do 1,000 of these, and I'll do it on 365 days. And as you guys can see, it shows everything right here. It'll just pop up here. I'll just confirm this, and I'll show you guys that transaction. It's done. So let me go over to the chain here. Uh, that's how much it cost me to stake. If you guys could do that on Ethereum, I'm sure you guys would be super happy about that. Oh, let me share this tab. There you go. It confirmed within less than 10 seconds. That was 18 seconds ago when it confirmed. That's how quick and easy it is to do staking now. Okay, so hopefully you guys are super happy about that. So you'll still be able to continue to do it on the Hex as well, but we also give the ability to do it straight in DeFi as well, and you guys can do everything directly interacted with the chain as well. I'm gonna stop here and stop sharing. You guys have any questions? Yes, no, maybe. No. Okay. All right. I feel like I'm giving everybody an opportunity here. We'll have some question and answer at the end here. Oop, what we got here? Tyler's back. There we go. So that concludes a lot of the big updates, right? I could go through and tell you everything that we've changed on all the individual platforms. The only one that I'm gonna pop over to and I'll share some stuff here is Daisy. Just give me a second to get this loaded up here. Close some of these out here. So for any of you guys that are not familiar with the new Daisy platform, we have completely re-engineered this, built specifically for the app to be able to use this instead of having several different AI. Hang on, let me check this real quick, guys. No, yeah, not a problem, Tyler. I don't know if he's still in here, but he had messaged me. You know, he couldn't get it working on his phone. He's having some issues. Let me pop over here. You guys still see my screen? Check, yeah. Yeah, should be. I'll just pop into here real quick. If you guys see, we've combined all of our AI into one single model. So obviously, as you guys can see, we have all these drop down. We encourage you guys to go in and use this. This is probably one of the number one tools and money makers outside of our advertising for the BlockStar ecosystem. So we have completely redone all of our AI into one platform. It's easy to use. It's very inexpensive for people to use. I encourage you guys after we get done with the meeting to go check it out. I'm not going to go into all the details of it. We'll save that for an entire AMA by itself, right? Doing all the updates and everything. But there is a ton there, teams, the whole 9 yards. This is a great tool. If you haven't started using AI, if you're familiar with ChatGPT, this is like ChatGPT on steroids. So I encourage you guys to go in and check this stuff out. I'll give anybody that wants to go on, if you'll send me a message, I will give you guys a free trial of this so you can go in and test it out and try all the different functions and everything. That's the perks of joining these AMAs and everything and these updates. So you guys get some special perks there. But I encourage you guys to use this stuff. See how you like it. And if you like it, tell people about it. Again, that is the number one thing that's going to help build our ecosystem. Just telling people and having them use it. We feel like we built a great product. Now we just need the users to start using it. And again, we're going to be doing our marketing and advertising as well. Some of that stuff I'm going to share at a later date because there's a lot of proprietary stuff that we're doing that is a game changer. And we are using AI to do some of that stuff for us on the marketing side. So I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail there again, just because it's proprietary to the to BlockStar as the corporation. Um, but we are going to be going on a massive advertising campaign across multiple networks that is really going to be a game changer. We're going to have a big influx. So those guys that are on the list for the nodes and all that stuff, I still have you on my list. I haven't reached out to nobody because we already have enough nodes in the ecosystem, but it's going to come to a point where we're going to start going through that list here in the near future, so I can start getting you guys set up, the ones that want to be part of that the node system, and earn those rewards. I'll reach out to you guys. Again, my list is already over 100 people, and I will reach out to you guys at here in the near future as I start working through and we start bringing those new nodes online. For any of you guys that are already node holders and everything, I'll be having a conversation with you guys within the next month here as well. So that is basically all of my updates in a nutshell today. I could go into again the little details and nuances of all the platforms, but I encourage you guys to go and actually look at what we've been doing. Well, we're gonna end it there then, guys. Obviously, we're always around. You guys can message me. I always try to respond to everybody within 24 hours. Obviously, if it's general, generic questions and everything about how something works in the ecosystem, I do encourage you guys to go check out the knowledge base first before just messaging somebody on the team to ask them. Again, those guys are super busy working on the back end, and that allows us to continue to do our development and stuff without stuff that we've already answered. That's why we put together those frequently asked questions and all the knowledge base. So I encourage you guys to check that first before you message somebody. And then obviously, if you're not finding the answers that you want, or you're still having trouble, then obviously reach out to somebody and we'll be happy to assist you as well. But I do encourage you guys to check that first. That just allows us the time that we need on our end to continue to work inside the ecosystem and get these things out faster without answering a million questions that we've already covered previously. So again, I appreciate everybody in the ecosystem, and I encourage you guys to go check out all the platforms that we built to date. See some of the bigger changes. If you tried it, months ago or years ago, and you want to see what we've done so far and some of the big updates, and everything, I encourage you guys to go use it. That's what this ecosystem is built for. It's not built for investors, and it's built for users. Obviously, as an investor, you're going to make money because BlockStar is built differently. It's built for the price that continues to grow and to go up in value, not down in value. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to advise you what to do. Again, we're looking for a user base at this point. We encourage you guys to be users and use the product that you're supporting.